Hi, everyone. This is David Stein, and this is the Heartland Podcast. A federal judge ordered the immediate release of 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos and his father from ICE detention in Dilley, Texas, on January 31, 2026. The detention of the child, who was taken into custody with his father in Minnesota, has sparked a national outcry, with Judge Fred Byery criticizing the action as a perfidious lust for unbridled power and part of a traumatizing immigration enforcement policy. Liam and his father, Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias, were detained on January 2026 after returning from preschool. Judge Byery ordered their release by February 3rd, 2026, following emergency requests from the family's lawyers. The image of the child in a blue bunny hat became a symbol of opposition to the detention of children. This news story is dear to my heart. As you may know, my latest book is Raising Healthy Kids, Protecting Your Children from Hidden Chemical Toxins. I wrote it because I know, as a parent, my kids are safe when your kids are safe. I care about all kids. That's why on a personal level, this story hits me so hard. The number of children in immigration and customs enforcement detention on a given day has skyrocketed, jumping more than sixfold since the start of the second Trump administration, according to the Marshall Project, which analyzed data obtained by the Deportation Data Project and found that ICE held around 170 children on an average day under Donald Trump. During the last 16 months of the Joe Biden administration, ICE held around 25 children a day. According to a report from ProPublica, this year ICE has sent more immigrant children into the federal shelter system than in the previous 4 years combined. The pipeline from traffic stops to federal shelters is evident in Florida, where thousands of state and local police are deputized to enforce federal immigration laws. Under Trump, kids' average stay in federal custody is nearly 6 months, up from a month under President Biden. Lengthy stays are leading some children to lose hope. In 2021, Biden largely halted the practice of family detention, and the Dilley facility, which had mostly housed families, closed in 2024. But the Trump administration revived the practice last year, and the facility, located about 75 miles outside of San Antonio, reopened. The Dilley Immigration Processing Center in Texas is the main facility for family detention. ProPublica notes, despite Trump's promise to go after violent criminals, the vast majority of adults detained at Dilley over the last year had no criminal record in the United States. Some of the parents I spoke to had overstayed visas, many had filed applications for asylum, had married U.S. citizens, or had been granted humanitarian parole and were detained when they voluntarily showed up for appointments at ICE offices. They said it was unfair to arrest them and that detaining their children was just plain cruel. Micah Rosenberg of ProPublica writes, there were children in Dilley who were so distraught they cut themselves or talked about suicide. Several mothers told me. That's Micah talking. Recently, 2 cases of measles were discovered in the center. Federal officials said they quarantined some immigrants, and attorneys said ICE canceled in-person legal visits until February 14th as a safety precaution. Again, this is Micah talking, writing in ProPublica. Moms told me that their kids had lost their appetites after finding worms and mold on their food, had trouble sleeping on the facility's hard metal bunk beds in rooms shared by at least a dozen other people, and were constantly sick. Meanwhile, independent analysis by the Cato Institute and Syracuse University's track reported that as of late 2025 and early 2026, over 70% of immigrants currently held in ICE detention have no criminal convictions. Independent analysis says that we are finding some murderers, sexual assault perpetrators, and others. Yes, that's true. And some so-called non-criminal or non-violent offenders, such as drunk driving arrests, which are ones I find quite violent and offensive. And I would like to see these people go too. But even counting these people, we are hurting so many children, and they are innocent. And we don't need to be doing things this way. Can we use a scalpel instead of a butcher's knife to eliminate the bad actors? To give you an example of how badly the administration has missed in its so-called sweep to get violent criminals off the streets, CBS News reports fewer than 14% of the more than 400,000 taken and had committed violent crimes. 40% had no criminal record. Less than 14% of nearly 400,000 immigrants arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in President Trump's first year back in the White House had charges or convictions for violent criminal offenses, according to an internal Department of Homeland Security document obtained by CBS News. In fact, some comments I've heard are that ICE forces When you look at their criminal records, have committed more violent crimes as a group than the immigrants they're arresting. Now has been reported widely the Trump administration is buying up warehouses, spaces all over the country to enrich their cronies and imprison more children. These will be used to store more and more adults and children, but all non-criminals. The stupid administration never prepared an infrastructure to keep up with its abuses of our Constitution and detainment of so many without due process. So these newly acquired spaces will be for human storage, while humans await court dates that are months and months away, while their lives rot and their children grow despondent. I don't want the violent criminals or the drunks and pushers either, but the collateral damage needs to stop. On a personal level, your shopping, lifestyle, and personal health choices really do matter. After all, pollution also creates more crime. Its effects on children make them less able to function at a high level in a complex society like ours. Making smart shopping choices is the only way to stay healthy today and create the health of our nation and all people. Raising healthy kids, protecting your children from hidden chemical toxins is available on Amazon.com. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, David_Steinman_author. If this resonated, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay informed.